noisiest leaders have done nothing for the Kamba nation. The Kamba nation is firmly behind the government. And sisi hatutakaa nje ya meza ya serikali.
What happens when the loudest opposition battle is no longer coming from President Ruto's camp, but from your own backyard? For years, Kalonzo Musyoka has been considered the undisputed political king of Ukambani. But today, a rebellion appears to be brewing from within his own community, led by leaders who argue that loyalty to Kalonzo has produced little political and economic return for the region.
This Kamba land has been there before some of us were born. And we have seen leaders and what they have been able to do. And some of the noisiest leaders have done nothing for the Kamba nation. The Kamba nation is firmly behind the government. And sisi hatutakaa nje ya meza ya serikali. Hatutakaa nje ya meza. Ni mjinga tu ambaye anawacha meza ambayo vitu zinagawanywa anaenda kukaa kule nje. Nyinyi msifikirie ati Raila alikuwa mjinga. Kwamba baada ya siasa alikuwa anakaa kidogo anarudi ndani ya serikali. Kwa sababu anajua ni ndani ya serikali ambapo watu wake wataweza kusaidika. Tukae ndani ya serikali ama tukae nje? Tukae ndani ya serikali ama tukae nje?
Could this be the beginning of the biggest political challenge of Kalonzo's career? And if Kalonzo weakens, what happens to the entire United Opposition project for 2027? Throughout his political career, Kalonzo's greatest political asset has been his near-unquestioned support in Ukambani. Whether he was in government or opposition, the region remained loyal. That loyalty gave him bargaining power nationally. Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga negotiated with Kalonzo because they knew he controlled a large voting bloc. But if leaders from his own community begin convincing voters that Kalonzo has held senior government positions for decades without transforming the region economically, that political capital starts shrinking.
Kupanga chochote hawana. Kwanza kuna mwingine nilimuuliza juzi. Kamuuliza my friend. Mnasikia nyinyi? Kuna jamaa mwingine nilimuuliza juzi. Nilienda Ukambani. Kaenda kufanya barabara. Sasa jamaa mwingine nikamuuliza juzi kwa sababu alikuwa ananiambia maneno mengi. Nikamwambia wewe, mimi sasa ndio napanga barabara ya kwenda kwako. Wewe umekuwa uongozi miaka 50. Barabara ya kwenda kwako ni ya vumbi. Sasa nikamuuliza, sasa wewe unataka aje kuongoza Kenya kama akili ya kupanga barabara ya kwenda kwako hauna? Akili ya kupanga barabara hizi zote, sijui expressway, sijui hiyo ingine, atatoa wapi?
The moment a regional kingpin loses monopoly over his home vote, his national negotiating power declines immediately. This is the exact strategy Kenya Kwanza appears to be pursuing. Not necessarily defeating Kalonzo nationally, but weakening him enough in Ukambani so that he no longer speaks for the entire region. The argument being advanced by some pro-government Kamba leaders is simple. Kalonzo has served as vice president, cabinet minister, and held senior government positions for decades. What lasting projects can he point to in Ukambani? Whether fair or unfair politically is almost irrelevant. Politics is often about perception rather than facts. If this narrative gains traction among young voters struggling with unemployment and economic hardship, it becomes dangerous for Kalonzo. Unlike older generations that vote based on loyalty and historical attachment, younger voters increasingly ask one question: what have you delivered? If Kalonzo fails to answer this question convincingly, Kenya Kwanza may succeed in creating doubts among first-time and younger voters. The strategy is not new. President Ruto successfully weakened opposition influence in regions previously considered politically inaccessible. If Kenya Kwanza can reduce Kalonzo's dominance even by 20 to 30% in Ukambani, it could significantly alter national electoral calculations. A presidential candidate does not necessarily need to win your region. Sometimes reducing your numbers is enough. A drop from 90% support to 65% support in Kalonzo's backyard would be politically significant. Kalonzo brings one critical thing into any opposition coalition: Ukambani votes. If doubts emerge regarding his ability to mobilize the region overwhelmingly, his bargaining position inside the opposition alliance weakens. Questions may emerge. Can Kalonzo still guarantee Ukambani votes? Does he remain the undisputed regional kingpin? Should another opposition figure carry the presidential flag instead? Politics is brutal. Coalitions reward political strength and punish perceived weakness. The stronger Kalonzo looks at home, the stronger he becomes nationally. The opposite is equally true. The opposition's greatest weapon against President Ruto is unity. His greatest danger is internal competition. If Kalonzo spends the next 2 years defending his political base in Ukambani, he will have less time and energy building a national presidential campaign. Instead of attacking Kenya Kwanza nationally, he risks becoming trapped in regional political battles. That would be a strategic victory for his opponents.
Our watu wa opposition, by the time tumefika June, wapatie wa Kenya who the presidential candidate is. Kama wazela ndo mwende. Na sisi inyandu maanu mangune. Nyinyi mnasema presidential candidate atakuwa ni nani? Muongee na sauti, tuongee na Kenya. Nyinyi mnasema presidential candidate wa opposition atakuwa ni nani?
Kalonzo has survived numerous political storms over the last 2 decades. Many politicians have attempted to dethrone him in Ukambani and failed. His political network remains deep. His personal brand as a moderate and experienced leader still resonates with many voters. Most importantly, elections are won by voters, not politicians. The true test will not be what leaders say in press conferences. It will be whether ordinary voters in Machakos, Kitui, and Makueni begin embracing the anti-Kalonzo message. If they do, Kalonzo faces the toughest battle of his political life. If they do not, this rebellion may simply strengthen his image as a leader under attack from both government and rivals. The battle for State House in 2027 may ultimately be decided long before Kenyans reach the ballot box. For Kalonzo Musyoka, the first battlefield may not be Nairobi, MT Kenya, or Western Kenya. It may be Machakos, Kitui, and Makueni. Because before Kalonzo can convince Kenya to elect him president, he may first have to convince his own backyard not to abandon him. And if Ukambani begins to crack, the shockwaves could be felt across the entire opposition alliance. A question for you: do you see President Ruto successfully weakening Kalonzo right in his backyard ahead of the next general elections? Let me know your thoughts in comments.